Hello students, today in your algebra class we're going to talk about the slope-intercept formula. Now, at the end of this lesson you should be able to identify the slope and y-intercept of an equation. So below is the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where m, which is in blue, represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. And the slope you should know because we did it in the previous lesson, tells us the rise over the run. Now, first part of this is fairly easy. We're just supposed to find the slope and the y-intercept given these four examples. Now, what I tend to do is to carry the equation down with each example. Here we have y equals negative 3x plus 5. Now, because I dragged the y equals mx plus b just below it, we're able to play match a little bit. So, in this instance, we have y, they match, equals, they both match, and then instead of an m, it says negative 3. Therefore, our m, or our slope, is negative 3, and our b, or our y-intercept, is 5. So now let's try another problem. For example 2, it's the same idea. Your m is 4. Now notice we're only looking for the m, not the x, just the m. So your m is 4, and your b is supposed to be a plus b. And instead this says a minus 3, therefore your b is negative 3. Next problem is in example 3. See if you can figure out what this is before I get to it, or pause the screen, because in this problem we have m equal to 1/2 and b equal to 4, or positive 4. Last but not least is example 4. In example 4, this one might be a little tricky, but it's really not too bad. We have y equals negative 4x. Now playing match, we know that m is equal to negative 4. So m equals negative 4. And because our b, if we look right above it, there's nothing above it. So our b equals 0 because there's nothing there. Let's look at a couple of different examples. In this example, it says, write an equation in slope-intercept form given m and b. Now, here's our basic equation again. So we're going to start with y equals our m, because it tells us m is 6x plus, and our b is negative 4. So we say y equals 6x plus negative 4, or y equals 6x minus 4. Number 2, same deal. We have y equals negative 7x plus our b is 1, therefore it's 1. Example 3 is a little bit spicier, but it shouldn't be too difficult. This is a really good example because it helps us determine what is our m, our slope, or what our b is, our y-intercept. So, our y-intercept, as we discussed earlier, is where it crosses the y-axis, which in this case it crosses the y-axis here at 1. Therefore, our b equals 1. For our slope, we have to draw a right triangle. So, we're going to go from that point to that point, and this one to this one. Now, because our slope is rise over run, we can determine that we went down 2 and we ran 3. So just to elaborate again, we went down 2, we went 1, 2, and we ran 3. 1, 2, 3. So now that we have our slope and our y-intercept, we can now write y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. Example 4 says determine if the ordered pair lies on the graph. You're going to often see these types of questions on your CSTs or benchmark tests. So when they're asking us to determine if it's on the graph, all we simply need to do is substitute the values in and see if it matches. Now, all ordered pairs will start with x comma y, which tells us that x is -3 and y is 4. So we're going to do some substitution. Y is now 4. Then we have equals -2 times -3 plus 1. We get 4 equals 6 plus 1, which is 4 equals 7, which we will obviously determine is not true. Therefore, the point does not lie on the graph. So now we're going to graph using slope-intercept form. On this example, we have y equals 2x plus 1. Now, on the right, I put 4 easy steps in graphing. Step 1, or step A, is to identify the slope and y-intercept. Now remember, slope and y-intercept, we should just use the formula. Y equals mx plus b, therefore m equals 2, and b equals 1. B says start by plotting the y-intercept. Now the y-intercept is 1. Therefore we're going to go up 1, and this is going to be our y-intercept. Our slope is 2, because part C says from the y-intercept, which we did in red, plot the next point using the slope, which is rise over run. Now if we look at our slope in blue, it says rise over run. And because we don't see a fraction, we can make it 1 by dividing by 1. So, it says from our y-intercept, use the slope. So our rise is 2, so 1, 2, and our run is 1. So we go over 1. We make a point right there. Then part D says draw a line through both points. So I'm going to pull up my line tool, and I'm going to draw the point. And here is our line. We'll try just one more, and this time we're going to go a little bit faster. Here it says identify your slope and y-intercept, so m equals -3, b equals 2. Then part B, in red, says start by plotting the y-intercept, which is 2, so 1, 2. Then from the y-intercept, plot the next point using the slope, which is rise over run. Excuse me. So our slope doesn't have a run, so we're going to divide by 1. And the reason why we can do this is because -3 divided by 1 is still -3. So because it's a -3 for our rise, it means we're going to go down 3. So 1, 2, 3, and run 1. So this is what we're left with. And now, according to part D, is we are going to draw a line. Like so. Now, it's your turn. Try the following 3 problems, and when you're done, please post your answers to Edmodo. First person will start, everyone else will just reply. That's all for now. Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.